Hey guys, Tony here, and in this video, I'm going to share with you my experience with the crowdfunded Vava Chroma, which is a 4K triple laser ultra short throw projector. It's been my daily driver for about a year now in my upstairs theatre room, which has a 100-inch Elite Screens CLR screen and a 5.2 Crick speaker setup, and this room probably gets more use than my dedicated home theatre because it's more of a casual space that my kids also like to use. So I'm going to break down all of the things that I like about it and some of the things that I think need improvements, as well as go through some of the updates that may or may not be coming to this projector. There is just something special about the triple laser that I think makes it a great option for a home theatre setup, which I'll break down in the video as well as show you some of the movie demos and how it looks in my setup. Make sure that you stick around to the end where I'll give my verdict and also share some of the updates that have been made. Now would be a great time to hit the like button for me and subscribe to the channel if you're not already, as we dive into the Vava Chroma 4K laser projector, so stay tuned. So before we discuss the triple laser versus single laser, let's go over the main specs of the Vava Chroma so that you can see what we are working with. We have a triple laser light source using ALDP4, which I'll discuss in a little bit, and this allows for brighter and more accurate colors reaching the BT 2020 color space, which in turn improves the overall picture quality. There is also support for HDR10, and you can see the huge difference between the HDR support with this projector. I'll show you some demos later in the video. The Chroma has a 4K resolution with a contrast ratio of 1.5 million to 1 and 2200 NC lumens, which makes it a decently bright projector. There is also electronic focus, 8-point keystone correction, which I do try to avoid at all costs, as well as built-in Harman Kardon speakers that can take 60 watts of power, and if you don't have a soundbar or a speaker setup, they can certainly be used for your main speakers. The Chroma also has motion detection, which is pretty standard for laser projectors, and depending on how far you place it from the wall, you can get all the way up to 150 inches. There is also 3D support, but I don't have any 3D glasses to test it out, and there is also the gaming mode for 20 millisecond latency, so for casual gaming, this projector works pretty well. There are 3 HDMI inputs, all of them have CEC, with one having ARC support or audio return channel, so that you can feed the audio back into the AVR if you are running off the built-in apps which are installed on the projector itself. However, in my case, I'm using the Zidu Z9X movie player as well as an Apple TV, so I don't really need ARC. I'll leave a link down in the description to the full specs, so check them out if you want to find out more detailed information about the Chroma's specifications. When it comes to laser light sources, there are 2 main options, being a single laser with a color wheel and a triple laser. The single laser uses a color wheel to split the light into the primaries and then combines them to create the various colors for the image. This can create the rainbow effect, which is where you see in fast moving scenes or you move your head while you're watching, you can see some separation of the colors. There is also a high-pitched sound associated with the color wheel, which I have certainly heard from all of the laser projectors to varying degrees. A single laser projector does present great value, as you do get the benefit of the decreased cost, but also a very long lifespan of over 15,000 hours or more. The image can have a slight overpowering to the blue in some cases, as a blue laser is often used. So the triple lasers or RGB lasers will use a red, green and blue laser combining to produce the various colors. Straight away you will notice that the colors are much more vibrant and deeper, and this is evident as they generally can reach a greater coverage of the DCI-P3 and BT 2020 color space. The Vava Chroma is rated to reaching 106%, although I wasn't able to get that with my sensor in this room, as the color and brightness reproduction are very room dependent, as well as what you're projecting onto. But I have no doubt that the theoretical 106% is achievable. The triple laser system is also quieter. There is no high-pitched whine or sound, and overall the Vava Chroma is under 30 decibels with my decibel reader. The triple laser setup does increase the cost, so generally they will be more expensive over their single laser counterparts. But if you're into deep, rich colors, the Chroma does present great value at $3,500. You can check out the links in the description if you want to buy one or find out more about the Chroma. My personal opinion is I prefer the look of a triple laser over a single laser short throw. I have been able to demo quite a few ultra short throw projectors with the tri-laser and single laser, and overall there is a particular look that you get from the triple laser which I find warmer and deeper with respect to the colors, especially in the reds and the yellows. Not to say that a single laser can't look good, because it can, but the vividness is just something unique to a triple laser that I find more appealing. When it comes to calibration, unfortunately Vava have not unlocked the full potential of this projector, and this is something that I have discussed with them, but they feel at this stage that the fine-tuned color control is not something that they want to introduce, which for me is a bit disappointing, as I do have a sensor and would be able to make changes to the color management which could make the picture even better. What you can control at the moment is the individual laser strength, which does impact on the color temperature and makes a huge difference to the color balance of the grayscale across the spectrum, from 0 being black to 100 being white, and making sure that each increment in there doesn't have too much red, green or blue. This can really only be achieved with a sensor, and I do have the Calibrate Color Checker Display Plus, which is a fairly inexpensive sensor combined with the free software called HCFR. So this isn't a pro setup, but for an enthusiast like me, it's perfect for being able to squeeze the most out of a display, and I've been able to use it many times to fix the picture on various projectors. The Chroma does have limited controls and does rely a lot on presets, which do actually work pretty well and can give you a stylized approach to your content depending on what you like. But I like to make changes manually to the lasers, including the brightness, to ensure that I got the image as correct as possible. To fix the actual colors, I'd need access to the RGB CMY settings, but they are currently locked. And as mentioned before, at this stage, Vava have no plans to unlock them, but I do hope they will reconsider after watching this video. Adjusting the presets directly affects the laser strength, which in turn affects the color balance, and you can make fine-tune adjustments to the brightness, contrast, hue, and the chroma, which is essentially the color saturation. Really nice controls here to tweak the picture to your liking. I also leave it on HDR mode at all times, as the SDR image does look a little washed out. So while it can't detect and switch between SDR like a menu screen and then flick to HDR when a movie starts, I think that overall it does look better with the HDR mode turned on. If you can't get your image perfectly aligned, you can use the 8-point keystone option. However, I would do my best to get the projector in a position so that you don't have to do that. There is also focus control so that you can get the image as good as possible. I found the image uniformity pretty good, with a trade-off between the top and the bottom being in perfect focus, but this is a common issue with UST projectors due to the angle of projection. I was able to get it pretty close to perfect. The question always comes up about why you would want to use a UST over a television or a standard ceiling mounted projector. First of all, convenience comes to mind. You can place it right up against your screen or your wall and get a massive sized image without having to run HDMI cables very far or through your ceiling. Secondly, to get an image the size of a UST can bring, a TV is quite a bit more costly. This may change with time, but for now, a UST can present a better price for a larger screen size. Also, a projected image can give you a more cinematic feel than a TV, even though the quality of a TV is generally better. We are getting a very nice cinematic image at a big size for a cheaper price. The price does add up once you start adding a screen, but it's certainly something to consider. The drawback of a UST UST projector is for me the placement of the center speaker. If you use a soundbar, likely it won't be a problem, but for someone like me who has a speaker system, having the center speaker under the projector isn't the ideal placement. But from the distance that I watch, having it underneath doesn't impact on the performance too much, as I have the center speaker aiming up towards the main seated position. Personally, I would like to have this setup with a 100-inch screen over a television. I prefer the cinematic look that you get over a TV, and the other main reason is my wife wouldn't let me run cables up through the ceiling to put a ceiling mounted projector at the back of the room. The UST is quite unassuming as it sits on the TV unit and doesn't become an eyesore in a casual space hanging from the ceiling. The Chroma does come in slightly more than the Vava 4K because of the triple laser, but if you are more budget conscious and would like to go for the Vava 4K, I've tested it out and it is a great projector, as well as all the updates, the brightness and the vividness. For me, hands down, I still go with the Vava Chroma, and that wins due to the deeper and the richer colors it produces. I'm planning on making a video on the rise of the ultra short throw projector, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and tick the little bell if you don't want to miss that video. And if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure you smash the like button for me as well. So let's take a look at some movie demos in my room so that you can see how it performs and the vividness of the triple laser. It is displaying on a 100-inch Elite Screens Aeon CLR, which is an amazing screen for ultra short throws, rejecting up to 95% of overhead light, and it's been a perfect upgrade in my room. I did make a video on this, so I will drop a card up above if you'd like to check that out after this video. So gaming is not something I like to do in this setup, but I know many of you like to do it, which is the experience that my daughter has with playing Fortnite. She really loves it. I have used other projectors up here and she does prefer the Chroma over all of them. The lower latency and also the MEMC, which fills the frames, makes the image nice and smooth. So the latest update on the Chroma did fix a few things that have been bugging the community for some time. Most noticeably for me is that they fixed the ghosting in the dark scenes. The next thing that didn't make it was the color controls. As mentioned earlier, they did make a decision not to include them, and I do think this is a missed opportunity with making it more feasible as a dedicated projector for someone like me who has a sensor and can make the necessary corrections. I wrote back and suggested that maybe they put it in a nested menu so that it's hidden and harder to find, so hopefully that they will add that into an update in the future. The next thing that I asked them about was 24 frames per second support, and they have advised me that they are going back to the chip manufacturer to see if that's something that they can implement via an update. This is very exciting because 24p support for movies especially will elevate this projector to the next level, as nearly everything I watch is in 24p. This isn't so much of an issue for gaming, as the MEMC and lower latency does help to give an adequate performance for gaming as long as it's not competitive. Dynamic contrast can now be disabled without disabling HDR. This is something that I was hoping that they would implement, and since the HDR performance improvements, I find that I leave it on as I do get better black levels, but it is nice to have it as an option. So overall guys, my verdict on having this is that even after a year, this projector so far, it's the best ultra short throw triple laser that I've had the privilege of testing and using, and it will be in my setup for the foreseeable future. I think for $3,500, it does make a pretty decent use case for a casual or dedicated home theater, especially paired with a screen. I know that there have been some logistics issues with the Chroma and some people have had to wait a while to get theirs, but I can only speak to my experience with it, and it has improved with every update that has been released. And I do hope that Vava do continue to improve it with updates like the 24 frames per second and also adding in the color controls for deeper calibration. If you'd like to buy one, I do have links down in the description, and if you want to see an in-depth review I did of the Chroma, you can watch it over there, and I'll see you over there. But thanks to Vava for sending this projector to me for review, and if you found the video helpful, make sure you smash the like button for me. But that's it for this one. You'll catch me in the next one. Bye for now.